Hey everyone, and welcome back to UE5 BP Guru. So yesterday we looked at all the widgets we're going to be needing, and we set up our pause menu. We also have, in the previous episode, set up all of our structures, ready to start pushing variables through our creatures. But one thing we haven't got is typings, a list of typings that our creature can be. And we also haven't got a list of a data table with our multipliers for our typings. So that's what we're going to do today. There's a lot of setup when this game comes, so the first sort of few episodes will be a lot of sort of boring bits, just getting things set up and ready to go. So I do apologize for the slowness, but we're going to set up an enumeration. So for anyone who doesn't know what an enumeration is, it's kind of like a list of names that we can use to sort of drive a lot of other stuff down the line. So we're going to add an enumeration. We're going to need 18 enumerations. So I'm just going to do a boatload. And this is just a list of all the names of our typings. Now we have around about 18. We have nature, we have fire, we have aqua, we have lightning. Oh. Now a lot of you are probably already seeing some of the similarities. We have the insect typing. We also have air for bird typing. We have neutral instead of normal. We have dark. We have light. We have earth. It doesn't matter what the order is, by the way, it's just what comes first. We have ghost. We have ice. Let's add a few more in. We need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, maybe done one too many. Or maybe we have 16, I don't know. Beast. Plasma. We have magic. We have toxic. We have dragon. And we also have metal. So we have 17, my apologies, we have 17 different typings within this game, which will all link together in different ways and have advantages and disadvantages for using them against different ring mob. Before I move on, just to explain, so a lot of these, as I said, you will see them similar to others. So nature is grass, lightning is electric, aqua is water, insect is bug, air is bird or wind or whatever. Neutral is normal typing. We have earth, which is just combined rock and ground to make earth. I thought it was easier. Beast is like a new one. These are just kind of like supercharged normal neutral typings. They're strong against quite a few different typings and weak against like a fair few different ones, but these will essentially use normal moves, but they'll be like ramped up quite a bit. Plasma is a new one as well. Magic is new, but magic kind of falls alongside sort of psychic in a way for me, or fairy typing, but magic is new. Toxic is poison, dragon, and then metal is steel. That's kind of how I've split my typings. So light and dark obviously do double damage to one another, but they also take double damage from one another. What else do we got? So metal is strong again. Oh, there's one more typing I forgot. There you go. I forgot one. There was 18. It's crystal. There we go. So yeah, that's how I worked that out. So crystal is good. Is strong against plasma. Plasma is strong against metal, and metal is strong against crystal. So that's their triangle there. That's how that fits in together. Beast, again, as I said, will be strong against a lot of different typings, but weak against things like plasma and, you know, other things like that. So yeah, I'm just kind of working out sort of a lot of this, but I have worked out a lot already, just from working on it over the last few days. So we can save that and close that now. The next thing we want to do is create a new structure. And we'll call this type multiplier underscore struct. We can call a new variable on that new. Delete one of those. This new variable is going to be typing response. We'll go down here. We'll get our struct, and we want to get that new. Oh, where is it? Oh, no, it's not. We want the E number, enumeration. And we want to get the new one we made. Is it E underscore? And we want to make this a map, and we want to make this a float. So if we go into our default values and we create a new one, we can literally oh, interesting, it defaults to weird. So we can make that 1 and 1. Weird that it's doing it like this. I should make a none one, shouldn't I, really? Maybe I will do that. That might make my life a little bit easier if I can just change the none to a new one. Output. No. Constant draw. Let's reopen that e-typing. And we'll make a new one called none. That just makes life easier then if that's going to be the case going forward. There we go. Save that. And then in this one, we've got none in there now. None, nature, fire, or aqua, lightning, yep. Oh. Huh. Oh, yeah. So that's what I want to do. What is... Oh, I see, because I've already made... It's just... Sorry, I'm messing this up. I didn't realize this was how it's going to be. Beast plasma. The reason there's so many typings, by the way, if you're thinking, Jesus, this is ambitious for a big game, for an indie game, it's because if I want to add more sections down the line, like new areas to explore, for example, I am going to need a lot of typing so I can fan them out a bit and make the world feel a lot more diverse. It will make the first area feel quite cramped and overpowered, but I suppose it gets you started in sort of different areas and things. And when we add more areas, you will be able to start in different countries and things like that. You don't have to start where everybody else starts in the story. Every area will have its own story, its own creatures, and you know, we'll come up with a rule of you have to be a certain level before you can transfer creatures from other areas. Unless you're traveling there from, you know, an old area. We'll work it all out. So that's our typing now. So that is just one response, right? So if we now go in here and now go to, I think it's miscellaneous. Yep. And we're going to get a data table. And we're going to pick the enumeration we just set up. So let's find E underscore type. No. Let's just try putting in, what did I call it? Type multiplier, that's what I called it. There we go, click OK. And then we'll just call this type damage underscore DT for data table. And we're going to open that bad boy up. And now, if we add a new row, we can rename this row to be nature. And we have that typing response in there. And now we can go down and just decide what we want to change about each typing. So, for example, for fire, we're going to do a 0.5 damage to it. But water, we're going to do 2 damage to it. We're also going to do 2 times damage to earth typings. And I've also made it that nature will do 2 times damage to plasma. Everything else will be neutral typing. I can play around with these figures and do like slightly less damage to maybe metal, right? Because metal's strong, plants don't normally destroy metal. So we'll do 0.5 to metal. And I think that will be okay for that. Now that's in there, you should be able to see, look here, it's got all the figures. So we can call on this row to get the information for nature. And then if we do a second row, rename, fire, we can do the same thing. So we know it's going to do 2 damage to nature, but it's only going to do half damage to aqua. So we know with the multiplier we can give it more or less depending. Earth is going to be half, but frost is going to, or ice, I did actually name this frost, funnily enough, I should change that to keep it different, is going to be 2 times damage. It's also going to do, now I've set it up that it does 2 times damage to metal, but also does 2 times damage to toxic. And then we'll, just to finish this off, we're going to also call water as well. Or aqua. I should call it aqua. I should call it what it's meant to be called, aqua. Too many times playing Pokemon, see? So for aqua, we know it's going to do half damage to nature. It's going to do 2 times damage to fire. It's going to do half damage to lightning. We also know it's going to do 2 times damage to earth. And it's going to do half damage to frost. And then the rest will all be 1. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to save, so we keep all those figures correct. I'm actually going to come down here and change this to frost because that will bug me otherwise, that I didn't name it something correctly. And then in here, we're done with that, we can shut that down for now. So that's good. Right, now all we have to do basically is do the same thing for all other 15 typings, and then this will take care of our damage for us. And then what we're going to do in one of the upcoming episodes is we're going to right click, we're going to create a blueprint, and we're going to call a blueprint function library. And what this does is it creates a list of functions that every actor can call, everything, irrelevant of what what's in here. It should be able to call that function and use whatever code's in there to create tasks. It's really handy actually if you're doing like damage spread across, like in this instance, damage spread across lots of different things. And using this multiplier through this, that means every single. Now, maybe we're gonna call it through the master BP. But if I wanted to set everything up individually, like I had lots of different, very different creatures that all did different things, at least they could call the same functions, like damage and these damage multipliers and things like that, to be able to use them efficiently without any hassle. So if we open that up, it looks just like any other normal blueprint, but when we get going, this is where we're going to put the damage through. So we'll set up a new function for damage, and we'll run this, and then whenever someone is else is taking a turn and they do an attack, it will run this bit of code. That's the plan. So we are starting to flesh things out a little bit more. We have like a full typing list set up. We've got a damage table started. I'll finish that off screen, so you know it doesn't bore anyone. Also, it doesn't give you any heads up on what typings will affect other typings. You know, just not trying to give anyone any help. I've also been playing around with like tall grass. So I started up with this. I don't think it's big enough. It doesn't really stand out very much. If I put it out, it doesn't really stand out too much. And then I think the plan is to just put a collision box with a, you know, when we walk into the tall grass, it starts a timer, a random timer. It'll get a floating range and play that, and then when we've been running through it long enough, it'll start an interaction. Once that interaction's played out, it'll restart everything again, and then when we leave, it'll stop that timer. I think that's the plan anyway. So that's done with, and that's done with. Amazing. So yeah, hopefully you found this useful. Data tables can be really, really useful when dealing like damage multipliers and stuff. That's how I would do it as well for sort of when you're doing these kind of big RPG games and you have elemental powered creatures and things, and you're doing, I think Borderlands do it quite well. You have weapons that have like acid powers and fire powers, and then you have creatures that have resistance to those sort of types of weapons, and it does the same sort of thing with a data table where it just takes whatever one creature is and whatever creature another creature is, and does it like that. The other thing, actually, before I leave, what I want to change is in the creature strap. These typings, instead of type 1, we're going to use that enumerator. E underscore typing. We're going to use that instead for both of these. So that we can literally save that. And if we open up one of our, oh, I was in the right place, one of our creatures, let's open up her badger, we should be able to set his typing. Oh, maybe I haven't compiled. Save. Should be typing. Wait there. Hang on. Let's. We might have to open up the creature master. Compile this, and then go through that, and there we go. So now, sorry, yeah, you always have to update in the master before you can go. It will travel down into this. There we go. So now we can just pick a name for it, like nature, and it's done. Like, and if we wanted a second token, we can give it. There is a surprise mechanic going into this game that I will add that in at a later date, but for now that's fine. And then we can do the same thing for all of them. Give them now their proper typings. And we can use that. So that's now, that enumerator has become even more useful because we can actually push it through multiple things now, and then when it comes to kind of checking these things against one another, it's using the same enumerator, so it'll make life way easier to check for things. There is also another thing I want to do, but I'm going to do this in the next episode, and that is I'm going to change the name and index number to its own structure. So instead of having like me putting it automatically in that 7 and the name, I can pick those out just like this. So I can say this creature is going to be this creature and it's going to be this number. That's what I want to try and do. Species will always have to be written up, descriptions will always have to be written up, same for weight and height. sprite will be fine. Move list, I'm also going to change this. I don't want it to be written. It is set to name at the moment, but we're going to change that as well. And then we've got current level, but that's all set up during gameplay, so that's not worried. We don't mess around with any of this sort of stuff. The only thing we will mess around with is that evolution level as well. Cool. Then creature stats we will have to obviously manually do, and level up moves as well. But this isn't something that's going to get affected. This is just a. It's supposed to be a starting point, and then what we want to do is eventually down the line is create a second instance of this that is unique to the player. But we'll work all that out down the line. I'm not too worried about that at the moment. This is basically just for spawning purposes currently. But yeah, we're getting there. We are getting there. I'm slowly working things out as I go. But at least now, once I've done the rest of that data table off screen, we have our typings and our damaging or that stuff done. So thanks so much guys for watching. I know these episodes are quite long and there's a lot of information kind of flying around in them, but hopefully it is somewhat useful to you guys. That was a look at data tables and how they can be useful in like RPGs or like Pokemon games and things like that. Thanks so much guys. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.